The wolf didn't hesitate. It bit down hard. His partner saw this. He was terrified. He grabbed his gun, rushed out the door. The wild wolf was so startled that it let go of its mouth. But the boy signaled him, "Put the gun down." His partner was stunned. He thought the boy was crazy. Then the boy offered his arm again. The wild wolf gently held it in its mouth but did not bite. His partner couldn't believe his eyes. Their story started many years ago. Back then, he was just a cub. He had a gentle mother. But one day, its mother was shot by a hunter. She dragged her wounded body. She crawled back to the den. She had to know if her cub was safe. The cub smelled her scent. He ran out excitedly to greet her, but he found his mother collapsed in the snow. The mother wolf saw her child was safe. She quietly closed her eyes. The cub thought she was just sleeping. He licked her fur gently, but his mother never responded. The snow fell harder. The cub woke up from the cold. His mother's body was buried in ice. In that moment, he finally understood. His mother was never waking up. He howled in grief. He cried out his sorrow to the sky. But the wilderness was cruel. Without his mother, he was all alone. He saw a wolf pack in the distance. He tried to follow them for protection, but he was trapped by the deep snow. His tiny body could only watch as his kind disappeared. He came to a small river. He tried to get a drink, but his legs were too short. A man named Jack was by the river. He spotted the cub. He whistled. The cub was terrified. He ran away as fast as he could. Neither of them knew this brief meeting would change both their lives forever. The cub found another stream. There were fish in the water, but he had never learned how to hunt. He ended up just drinking the cold water. Hunger forced him to chew on tree bark, but he didn't see the trap at his feet. A rope instantly snatched him into the air. A tribal chief found him. He saw the cub's sharp white teeth. His eyes lit up. This was a rare breed. With a little training, he could become a top-tier working dog. The chief named him White Fang. From then on, White Fang had to drag heavy logs every day. Time passed. White Fang grew up. He was well trained. He could even catch fish in the river. One day, a gold prospector arrived at the tribe. It was Jack. Maybe it was fate. He felt a strange connection to White Fang. When the chief wasn't looking, he reached out his hand, but White Fang's low growl startled him. The chief quickly stopped him. He said coldly, "White Fang only needs to work. He doesn't need friends." But White Fang was not happy. He was alone in the tribe. The other dogs feared him. At night, he could only howl at the mountains. Jack saw all of this. He felt sorry for him. One day, Jack was walking in the woods. Suddenly, a brown bear attacked him from behind. He ran for his life. The bear chased him relentlessly. At the critical moment, Jack crawled into the pile of wood, but the bear wouldn't give up. It started digging frantically. It grabbed Jack's arm with its claws. Jack closed his eyes in despair. Just then, White Fang appeared. He was about to charge. White Fang backed away, but this was just his tactic. He stood between them. He used clever footwork to protect Jack. No matter how the bear advanced, White Fang never let it succeed. The bear was furious. It couldn't find an opening. It decided to finish White Fang first. However, White Fang was no coward. He bared his sharp fangs. His eyes gleamed. He faced the mountain-like beast and didn't back down. Maybe it feared human backup. The bear finally chose to give up and leave. Jack survived. He looked at White Fang. He wanted to say something, but White Fang just turned and walked away. Later, Jack had to leave to search for gold. Before he left, he saw White Fang by the river. He left him some dried meat. He said, "I won't forget you." White Fang didn't respond. He coldly turned his head away, but as the boat moved away, Jack looked up. White Fang was standing on a cliff, watching him. His eyes were complicated, because besides his mother, no one has ever been as gentle to it as Jack. After Jack left, the chief took White Fang to do business. Some thugs spotted him. They wanted to steal White Fang. The chief ran to stop them, but they threatened him. They forced him to hand over White Fang. The chief had no choice. The next day, White Fang was taken to a dogfighting ring. He was surrounded by a noisy crowd. His body was tense. His opponent lunged at him. White Fang only dodged at first, but when he was cornered, his feral nature exploded. He instantly pinned the other dog to the ground. He looked at his opponent's body. White Fang fell silent, but the thugs cheered. To them, White Fang was just a money-making machine. This day, his opponent was a bulldog. It was small but ruthless. It bit White Fang's throat and wouldn't let go. White Fang struggled desperately, but he was pinned to the ground. He was about to suffocate. Suddenly, the crowd panicked. A thug was knocked down from behind. A gun was pressed to his chest. It was Jack. He had returned. He used a stick to pry open the bulldog's jaws. He picked up the badly injured White Fang and ran through the crowd. Jack brought White Fang home. He bandaged his wounds himself. He watched over him day and night. White Fang's wounds slowly healed, but his eyes were still full of cold despair. He no longer trusted humans. He secretly tried to escape, but he got tangled in his chain. Jack went to free him, but White Fang bit him. Blood gushed from the wound. His friend told him to give up. He said White Fang was a wild beast again, but Jack refused. He knew the gentle side of him. him. After many attempts, White Fang finally ate food from his hand. He was still cautious, but he didn't bite. While he was eating, Jack reached out his hand. He gently stroked his head. White Fang felt the warmth. He finally let his guard down. From then on, he often helped Jack for gold, but accidents always happen. The cave suddenly collapsed. Jack was trapped inside. White Fang dug desperately. His paws were raw and bloody. He used his sense of smell to find Jack, and finally pulled him out. Jack wanted to check White Fang for injuries, but he saw something. There was gold dust on his paws. He realized what it meant. He ran back into the cave. The walls were covered in gold. It turned out, while rescuing Jack, White Fang had accidentally clawed away the dirt, revealing the gold hidden beneath. Soon, all the gold was dug out. Jack and his partner decided to take it to Los Angeles, but he knew a wolf would never be accepted in a city. As if sensing the goodbye, White Fang rested his head on Jack's leg. His eyes were full of sadness. The next day, Jack took him into the forest. He waved his hand, telling him to go back to the wild, but White Fang didn't move. He just followed him. Jack shouted at him to leave. He even picked up a stick to scare him away. White Fang backed up in fear. He finally turned and ran. Watching him run away, Jack's heart was breaking. He couldn't believe he had just threatened White Fang with a stick. He started running, trying to run away from the pain. He reached the dock. He was about to board the ship to Los Angeles, but right before he stepped on, he stopped. "I can't go yet," he said. He walked back to the mine. He decided to rebuild his home. Suddenly, he looked up. White Fang was standing in the distance. His eyes were soft. It looked like he was smiling.